June 6th, 1944, dawn breaks over the cold waters of the English Channel. Thousands of ships stretch to the horizon. On board, men who know that today could be their last. Ahead lies Fortress Europe and the chance to free a continent from tyranny. This is the story of D-Day, the largest amphibious invasion in history, and the longest day of modern times. D-Day, the longest day in modern history.
In 1940, Europe had fallen. France was crushed, Britain stood alone, and Nazi Germany ruled the continent. But by 1943, the tide was turning. The Allies had landed in Italy and pushed Rommel from North Africa. Now one goal remained: to open a Western front to strike directly at Hitler's fortress. The target? Normandy, France. Operation Overlord, the greatest military operation ever conceived. It would require deception, courage, and sacrifice on a scale the world had never seen. Allied commanders Eisenhower, Montgomery, Bradley, and Ramsey planned for months. They would land 5 divisions across 5 beaches: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. Every detail mattered: the tides, the weather, the moonlight, even the clouds. On the night of June 5th, the English coast was alive with movement. 156,000 men prepared to cross the Channel. Paratroopers of the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions boarded their planes. Across the sea, British 6th Airborne prepared to land near the Orne River. Their mission? Secure bridges, silence artillery, and sow confusion behind enemy lines. Above them, the weather was turning. High winds and rough seas threatened the entire operation. Eisenhower faced the hardest decision of his life. At 4:15 a.m., after hours of silence, he simply said, "Okay, let's go." The invasion was on.
At dawn, 5,000 ships approached the French coast. The first to land were the paratroopers scattered across Normandy in darkness, landing in fields, rivers, and enemy villages. Many were lost before they ever fired a shot. Then came the bombardment. Allied ships opened fire, pounding German defenses along the beaches. At 6:30 a.m., the first landing craft hit the sand. On Utah Beach, American troops came ashore under heavy current, landing a mile off target, but they quickly adapted and pushed inland. On Gold and Sword, the British met fierce resistance, but managed to capture coastal towns by midday. On Juno, Canadian troops fought through chest-deep water and machine gun nests, losing hundreds before breaking through. But on Omaha Beach, everything went wrong.
Omaha was a killing ground. The tide was high, the defenses untouched, and the artillery accurate. As landing craft dropped their ramps, machine guns cut down entire platoons. The sea turned red with blood. Engineers struggled to clear obstacles under fire. Medics waded through corpses to reach the wounded. For hours, the men were trapped. No cover, no momentum, no hope. But small groups began to crawl forward, led by captains, sergeants, even privates, who refused to die on that beach. One by one, they scaled the cliffs, destroyed the gun positions, and turned chaos into victory. By afternoon, Omaha was theirs, bought with blood. By nightfall, 156,000 Allied soldiers were ashore. It was not the end of the war, but it was the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. Hitler had been deceived, convinced that the real invasion would come at Calais. His reserves stayed idle, while the Allies built a new front in France. Within weeks, the Allies would capture Cherbourg, link the beaches, and push toward Paris. The success of D-Day was not luck. It was the courage of thousands who refused to turn back. They were ordinary men who did extraordinary things. Farmers, clerks, mechanics, and students who crossed an ocean to free a continent.
D-Day was the largest amphibious invasion in history. 5,000 ships, 11,000 aircraft, and 156,000 men. Over 4,000 Allied soldiers were killed that day. Their sacrifice marked the turning of the tide, the moment when freedom began its long march back to Europe. Today, the beaches of Normandy are quiet, but the names Omaha, Utah, Juneau, Gold, and Sword still echo with the memory of that morning. As long as those shores exist, the world will remember the day when courage changed history.
Thank you for watching. This was D-Day, the longest day in modern history. Subscribe for more cinematic documentaries about the battles and empires that shaped our world.